Well, all right.
Jesus.
Well, in that case, here we are, fellas. This is episode 90 of A Kettle of Fish.
Ooh,
We
getting
are-
closer and
An
closer.
elation.
We really probably should start talking legit plans for episode 100, even though I know that's like...
Episode 100, we're going to Zanzibar, and we're going to record over a campfire
God.
on the beach.
Oh, I thought we were going to Tuxedo Park.
Oh, we might go to
Yo,
Tuxedo
shout out
Park.
Tuxedo Tom.
We're gonna just go on the street, enter like fucking Billy Eichner, and just run up to everyone until we find out who it
Who
is.
Tuxedo? I'm willing to bet the population of that town is not very large.
They're not
At least
out walking.
100,000. We could definitely do that. But,
Oh man,
so
Let
welcome.
the hilarity ensue.
yeah, that'd be great.
Welcome, Tyler, back from the dead.
Hello.
He sounds like a ghost.
You
You guys remember in
God
God of War 1? You guys remember in God of War 1 where he literally gets killed and he has to climb out of hell? That's basically where I am right now.
Have you gotten to the point where like the ship captain, he just throws that bitch
No,
further
Paul, I have
down?
not gotten to the sex minigame yet. I'm trying.
That's even further ahead.
I'm trying, and I promise I can hit A or X, whatever. God, who cares? What are we talking about?
Oh,
Yay!
QTE. Is it QTE? No, quick time.
Well, you
quick
guys
time
are lucky.
accident.
I have
Yes,
like 5
QTE.
topics, 2 of which would be combative, but I'm also pretty low energy because I hit an hour and a half leg day. So whoever is at the end of my wrath, it will be a lot less intense
All
than
right.
usual.
Well, anything that's mainly focused on me, let's make that the absolute last topic.
Why?
Because he doesn't want to deal with it. He wants to pick on everybody else and
No,
raise his self-esteem
it's
first.
seemingly kind of rare for me to get a light thrashing. So,
Oh,
but I do kind of get double teamed by Tyler too because we talked during the week. So we're like, "Hey, what about this?" And he's like, "You fucking retard! This is what you should be doing. You're doing it wrong. Why are you doing this?"
Yeah.
how much stupid do you have shoved in your ears today?
That's a
I
good line.
said we're doing it this way.
Yeah.
Robert's like, hey, Tyler, I've been doing dumbbell presses with a loaded 9mm in my pocket. Is that fine? Is that okay?
I'm not that
I have
stupid.
so many freshly sharpened pencils
Yeah.
with me today.
Yeah. Yeah, literally.
Can you get lead poisoning from a pencil?
I need
had
to
a
take
friend of mine.
notes.
Yeah.
So one of these notes that I have just says Rob Sappy.
Yes.
Yeah, because
We can
Rob
get
okay,
into
gets
that.
that's
That's
super gay,
it's not even-
emotional to talk about.
It's not really a topic. I just kind of wanted to take a moment and let each of you know how I appreciate you in some way. And it's probably
Robert, I'll kill you.
there's one of the reasons. It's probably a result of the shit that's kind of going down with me personally, just with my mother-in-law and all that shit. And you kind of become a little more introspective, I guess.
Oh, you're all up in your feels. I got you.
Yeah. And we don't have to do it. I was just being
I'm a man. I
Stupid.
don't share my feelings. Fuck
right.
you.
Exactly. I mean, do you want to start off on a light note and then go heavy into thrashing
Yeah, let's
somebody?
do. Apparently, this is supposed to be the episode where we have the great. We should title this like the Great Microtransaction War or something. Like this is apparently supposed to be that.
Oh, this is the catalyst for the great microtransaction war. I
This-
think this is
this
going
is-
to be over several
is-
episodes. I'm sure.
Yeah, this is the
Oh,
prequel
God.
trilogy.
I
Do
don't-
we really disagree on them that much? That
I don't
can't be real.
I
No,
don't
no,
think
I
so.
think we are.
It's just
all
something that's
in
going to
it.
just keep debating on it, though. I think it's going to keep, as much as you guys have been talking about it, it's going to keep coming up again and again. It's just a thorn in everybody's side.
And it always has been ever since
Yeah.
horse armor.
Yeah, way to go, Bethesda.
Hooray!
I mean, it was an inevitability, right?
The fuck do they call those coins that they sold for that shitty game?
God, I don't
ESO?
know. Credits, apparently, from what.
No. it wasn't credits.
Okay, so hold up. There are like 3 different ones now for Elder Scrolls Online, so it's gotten worse, to be
Oh
honest.
yeah, that's right.
But that's
Because
also
you can't just have
ZeniMax.
one form of currency in game. You have to have one that you
Yeah.
buy with actual money, and then one that you earn in game.
Well, there's one that you earn in game, and like 2 or 3 that you buy with real money.
So stupid.
It's like crystals and credits and crates, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I have this one topic I was trying to find what the fuck I like
it's cold.
super vaguely remember it.
Dragon's
but
Dogma.
Not
Yeah,
enough to battle on it. I know we have to talk about the value or non-value of being concise to the people in your life, Paul. I know that will be the great war,
What?
really.
Your
What are you
TR,
talking?
your TLDR.
Oh no,
TLDR.
because I know what he's going to talk about, and it's going to talk. It's what did he call it? Communication ethics or some shit like that, or
That's not even really.
I don't think I would
ethics.
phrase it that gaily, but
I don't remember. You had said something at one point.
how about this? You flesh out your position first, and then we'll go from there.
Dude, I said my piece. All right, look.
Well, I wasn't here.
When it comes to you guys,
yeah,
like, and people that I'm close with, like Felicity or something, or like other friends, and if I'm excited about something, or if you guys are excited about something, you can attest to the fact that you want to talk about it. You want to talk a lot about it, and it feels slightly disrespectful when you get hit with the I didn't read that. Yeah, I checked out 2 fucking minutes or 2 words in or TLDR. That fucking hurts my feelings. And now I know there is some level of decorum you should probably meet in a conversation where you pull back. But my ADHD doesn't let me pull back. I've got to, because I'm covering bases while I'm typing stuff or saying things. Like I'm thinking, okay, well, they're going to ask this dumbass question. So let me go ahead and just cover that in what I'm saying. So they don't have to ask that question. So that's another thing. But that's.
So you're automatically ruling out conversation so you can kind of bogart it?
Yes.
That was the fastest and most concise yes ever.
I don't want there to be any questions in like where you forget what I'm even talking about in the first place, and it becomes now a debate about the question that feels like I explain things, but then and especially Robert, who I have to explain things to multiple times. So I try to be as just fucking particular as possible with what I say.
The majority of that is me just skimming over your dialogue.
I noticed. I know.
Your novella that you write.
That's why I said I'm going to start going back and editing all my chats so I can just gaslight you into being correct all the time.
And then it says edit right after that.
Yeah, maybe I misspelled something.
Paul, let me I'm gonna state something, and I want to know if you disagree with it at all.
Okay.
So when 2 people are friends, they both have to do a specific thing when it comes to being in a conversation. So if you're friends with somebody and they start talking to you about something, as their friend, you owe them an extra level of attention to what they're saying. So it's like, oh, this isn't some random stranger who's talking to me about bullshit I don't care about. This is my buddy. So I'm going to pay a little bit more attention. I'm going to listen a little more intently. So that way I can give him the respect that he deserves as my friend. Right? No contention so far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, on the other side, you as the friend speaking goes, okay, people's time and attention spans are limited and valuable. So even though this is my buddy, and I know he'll listen to me no matter what I say, I should try to make this as short-winded as possible, as easy to understand, as concise. That way, I'm not wasting their time, and they don't feel like, Jesus Christ, I'm locked into a verbal prison until this motherfucker stops machine gunning me. Do you agree with that?
No, yeah, I agree with that to a point. Because typically my long-winded bullshit is typed. And I feel like while time is valuable, you have time to read over that any point during the day. You don't like, it's not an immediate like bop, 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 get back to me right now.
Sure.
And so like after an hour or 2 has gone by, and then Robert's like, yeah, I didn't read that whole thing. And I'm like, why'd you even bother responding to it at all then? But like you've had that much time to look over it. Now when you're talking to someone, I can be a little chatty, so I get it. But once again, that ties back to that's a me problem. I get excited. I don't have a lot of people to talk to during the week. And it's nice to talk to people. So especially my friends.
Let me ask you
that's
this.
a me thing. So
if you were to wake up and see that I have sent you a message about even something like Pokemon, and it was 7 paragraphs. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you know me, I don't do that, but I decided to hit you with one, something I'm super interested in.
You sent me a review of a movie.
Yes. My manifesto. So
I still have.
Let's say you would read that 7 paragraph thing whenever you had the time to, right?
Yeah.
Now, what if I did that every day? Would you, at some point, wouldn't you go, oh, okay, I don't know if I have
every day though?
I'm just asking you a hypothetical question. Don't you think over time?
Because I don't know. I don't know how to answer that because I can't say, nobody's ever done it. Nobody's ever cared enough to bother for me.
Well, that's the value of a hypothetical question is you have to put yourself in that frame to go, okay, if every morning I woke up and Tyler sent me 7 paragraphs and expected me to read them and reply earnestly as my friend.
Replying earnestly, like I'm not, but that like give me some time to read over it.
But I'm just asking, hypothetically, if it was every day, don't you think eventually you would go, boy, I would appreciate it if Tyler would cut this down some?
I don't know, man. I feel like I would appreciate your excitement and willingness to talk to me as a friend.
I think we are entering some cope territory here.
But the thing is, I also have absolutely zero variables to throw at that. Like I have nothing to compare it to think about it logically. Like it's not ever been anything close to that happening in my life before. So I don't know.
Maybe. All right. Well, let's ask this. Why does it upset you so much when we go, I'm not reading all that, or give me the TLDR? Why does that get to you?
Well, because it's never give me the TLDR. It's never, hey, can you sum this up? It's, I'm not reading that. That's too long. That's where it's kind of.
At least we've paid you the respect
annoying.
of telling you we didn't read it.
I mean, I goddamn guess. But if you don't respond, I just assume you don't read it anyway. So
for me, it's, oh my God, what the fuck did I just walk into?
Right. Well, because
it's like, what just happened?
Out of the 4
if that's
of
a
us,
long-winded conversation, yeah.
Paul and I are the ones that are most active on the Discord. So it is very likely that when Frank or Tyler come back around, there is 95 messages you have to scroll through, and most of which are small monologues.
Dialogue.
To be fair, whenever I have ever told you, I'm like, oh, that's way too long, TLDR, I didn't read that. We'll read the first few sentences and to determine if the subject matter is anything within my wheelhouse.
What if it gets better halfway through?
Why the fuck did Tom wear the color red on the 3rd season of Pokemon? No, I give absolute zero shits about that.
Look, man, my brain's just going all the time,
and that's part of the reason why I'm like, okay, he's just in a trance right now,
I need some
vomiting
introspective from my friends that are also nerdy because I have no one else to talk to, man.
And that's fair, and I understand that.
There's been a time or two where I had to tell Paul, I just don't care.
Yeah, I get Frank doesn't care.
There's times where I just have to change gears with Paul.
Paul, you have to remember that there are some times where we open this Discord and we are opening this Discord minutes after being carpet bombed by agony. So when we open up the Discord,
see, that's the other thing I guess that I'm not taking into account.
Wait. And when we see a full page text about the types of uniforms in the new Assassin's Creed game, I go, I want to pick you up by your ears and slam you into the wall. I don't care about this at all. And I would, dude, if you would just say, the new fucking outfits are historically inaccurate and they're gay, I would go, base, nice. That right? But if you go, according to
But I
1912
I wanna
scriptures,
talk
then
about I want to
I
talk
can't do
about
it.
it. I don't want to be like, the point, done, good. That's so caveman.
There is room for conversation. We've definitely gotten into conversations on Discord.
Yeah.
It's just
Also, I
don't know.
do think it's
Kinda
bullshit
read
that
the room, I
Yasuke,
guess.
the Black Samurai, is the main character in the new game, but I'm just
Yeah.
whatever. And not because he's black. No, because they've never ever done that. They've never taken a real historical figure and made them a main character of a historical fiction game. So that is weird to me, and it's off-putting. I don't know why.
Or because he's black and you're racist.
Rude.
That's a TikTok.
I
That's
don't
going to be a
care
clip.
if he's black, man.
You're black and you're racist.
I
Well,
played,
Paul's winking. Paul's winking
played
right now. That
Deathloop.
picks up
I
on-
didn't care
Yeah.
that the main guy, and it's first person, so you
Tweaking.
never really saw that it was black. But that's not the point.
I do. So, Paul, I understand how you put that out and you go like, that's just how my brain's feeling. I just kind of want to get into a flow state, say all this stuff. And then like
I put
to
it out in the
CSGO,
universe.
I don't care, gay, fart. I'm not reading this. Like,
Yeah. It does.
But
It is slightly
why does that
hurtful.
not? Why does it not inspire you to go? All right, maybe if I cut this back by half,
I don't know, man.
they would read
Ask
it.
Robert, when I used to have Facebook, man, I just be posting shit just to elicit any kind of fucking conversation from people.
It's accurate.
It's half the reason I got rid of Facebook. Because
Because
Robert was
people
like, why
weren't
don't you just
engaging
write
with
a
you?
book? Yeah, well, you told me on at least 3 occasions, why don't you just write this down and write a book?
Dude, part of the reason why we started this podcast was to have an outlet for you to just
Talk.
whatever the fuck is going on in your brain all over the internet. You know,
yeah.
just
Ever since GameStop, when we played games together in the middle of the night, and I would just have random ass conversations about bullshit you have been
Right.
saying for years. Why aren't we doing a podcast? Why am I not
Exactly.
recording this? Yeah. So
long form
So
conversation. Yeah.
Moving on to the next thing that I had, I really only have 2 more.
Sure.
I had a note or a message that I had sent that said,
is that not yellow anymore?
I said, I don't actually disagree with you about the Dragon's Dogma thing. I think we're viewing the issue on different levels. I think I've identified a secret Paul characteristic I tend to shed light on.
Oh yeah.
But I don't remember
What
why
the
I said that.
characteristic- Yeah. Because I
Well,
asked
so
you,
if
I was
you
like,
could-
what is it? I want to know.
What was your spicy opinion on the Dragon's Dogma thing, which I assume was just about the microtransactions or the crystal or
like
whatever
I
the fuck?
didn't really. When it came to Dragon's Dogma's microtransactions, they didn't feel predatory to me because one, it's the exact same microtransactions they had in the first game, and everybody loves that one so goddamn much. And two, all of the things that they're selling are so easily accessible in the game. Like it
Yeah, that's what you
literally
had brought up in the
requires
show.
almost zero grinding to get any of the things that they're selling. And in fact, the prison key, which was one of the points you had brought up at one point, it's like, oh, you can buy the prison key for $2. And I'm like, yeah, but you get a like full prison key very early in the game, and then you can take it to another guy who will make a counterfeit version. You give the counterfeit back to the guy that gave you the original one, and then you have a permanent jail key that never breaks. So, I mean, I don't know.
I think part of the original issue is that everybody was lighting that game on fire because the microtransactions came out and there was no context of how they were being obtained.
Yeah.
And
Like people saw the microtransactions prior to the game even being out, though.
right.
So
And they're
was-
like, wait
yeah.
a minute, you have to purchase the ability to save the game or some stupid shit. And of course,
Well, no,
Tyler
that's
coming from
Legend
the
of Zelda.
position of somebody who is anti everything games except for Pokemon.
True, basically.
He's like,
And
see,
only the old ones.
this game
Only
is
the-
stupid. It's turbo retarded.
Yeah.
This is blah, blah, you know. And then Paul, being Paul, finally gets a chance to play it and is like, oh, this is not at all how it seemed. It's very kind of convoluted and mostly innocent.
So you take,
But you can
like,
pay for it, which is
Yeah,
stupid.
you can pay for it, but like comparatively to say like Ubisoft, who's always flashing their shop at you anytime you play the game, there is no shop menu in Dragon's Dogma. You actually have to go out to the PSN network. Like, you have to go out of your way to buy that stuff. It's not shoving it down your throat. It's not predatory in a way that's like, hey, buy this thing, or like, you know, there's no tip menu that comes up to tell you to suggest to go to the store and buy it. But there are
okay. I think I kind of remember what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I told you guys the story of when Pokemon Sword and Shield got announced and more information came out about it. That was the first time ever that I boycotted it. I didn't play it, and I've never played it, and I never will. There were a lot of factors in this, being like the 50% price spike, the unfinished graphics, the cutting of the Pokedex, like, right, the whole gotta catch 'em all thing was removed, gone. Like the whole slogan, the whole point of it. Paid DLC, which effectively doubled the cost of the game prior to any other iteration of the game. So like 200% more. And then they also removed megas, which were an incredible part of the game for years and years and years. So like with all those things combined, I went, I'm done. I'm not getting it. Like there were things that company did that I viewed as like insulting to the fan base, to the player base. And I went, I won't do it. So obviously something like the Dragon's Dogma, like adding in all those microtransactions, I think is bad. But I wasn't going to play that game anyway. So my question, Paul, is, has there ever been anything like that for you? Has any game made a change that was so unbelievable to you, or so dishonorable that you were like, I'm not going to buy this game. I won't buy it used. I'm not playing it, period.
Call of Duty.
Which
Easy.
one?
All of them. I've stopped. I full break stopped. And it was when Black Ops took out the story mode entirely, and they said, nope, we're just shifting to just multiplayer focus. And it's like, I actually liked a lot of the Call of Duty story modes.
Yeah.
And when they were just like, yeah, no, we're not doing a story mode, and they just had like one cutscene for quote unquote story, and then they started pushing out the skin and the marketplace thing where you can buy different skins, and it got so predatory. And then they did the battle royale thing. It got even worse and worse. And I think it was Modern Warfare. The remake of Modern Warfare was, I think, the last one I played. And they had these loot boxes and they had all this bullshit. And I'm just like, God, dude, I can't. And I could tell that I was getting sucked into it by those predatory, because it feeds on like ADHD brain. And I'm like, I gotta stop. I cannot keep doing this. The series is fucking dead to me. Like I cannot keep playing Call of Duty. And I haven't bought a Call of Duty since that one.
Okay, so there is a line for you. There is something a company can do where you go, Jesus Christ, that's it, I'm out.
Yeah. When I see that a series stops caring, Assassin's Creed has officially like burned so many bridges with me after Valhalla that I'm just like, I can't with you guys anymore. Like Valhalla was so fucking empty and boring, and it felt derivative, and it just like more microtransactions, more store. Hey, go to the store, do the store. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
What would a brand new title have to do to get you to not play it, even if it's really hyped, even if it looks interesting? Like when I say new title, I mean like new IP.
I'm probably out if they say they have a battle royale. Battle royale is like an immediate red flag for me. Like ever since Call of Duty, of course, and Fallout 76, when that dude got up on stage and was like, and hell yeah, Fallout 76 has a battle royale. I don't care. I don't want it. Nobody asked for that. Battlefield did a battle royale, it sucked ass, and they immediately shut it down. Like,
what about
like where games go to die? I feel I'm so sick of this shit. But
what about if it's a new title that looks pretty interesting, but in your opinion, it looks pretty obvious that there's some significant art theft? Do you think you would still play the title?
I see what you're getting at.
I'm just curious.
I see what you're getting at because I have.
If there was a title that came out that you viewed,
but I have done that.
Which game was it?
Power World.
No. But I'm saying, is there a game that has done art theft that, in your opinion, was so egregious that you went, "There's no chance I can support this"?
Oh, like to that level of egregious? I haven't seen anything.
Oh man,
interesting. Okay.
I mean, and there are some parts of Power World where I'm like, come on, guys. But it's the mechanics that really hooked me with that game, where like we have been so fucking abused by the Pokemon Company lately, like you said, with Sword and Shield and stuff like that, that it kind of mechanically gave Pokemon fans something they've been wanting. And
which is slavery.
Maybe some.
So
slavery.
I would love to jump in right here.
Yeah, go for it, Frank.
So, art theft or not, I think this is something that needs to happen. And if there is a true crime involved with art theft, then they can obviously be taken to court over it. But if the game is good, it inspires the originators to step up their game and really deliver the content that the consumer deserves.
Like that's what I'm hoping for Power World.
And that's the part that Paul was trying to get at with Power World, and I kind of agree with, was like some games really bring this awesome content, especially with like indie. And when you got a game that's like really awesome, you're really hyped for it, and then you got this art theft thing, and it's something you really can't get past, and it really bums you out. But then you got these really awesome features that they're really bringing to the table. You want the originators to bring these features forward, but they just won't do it. What do? You're at an impasse, right? As a consumer, you really want the originator to step their shit up. What do? Do you support the people who are bringing this new feature forward in spite of the thievery, so to speak? Or do you continue to support the shammer who's like taking all your money for the sake of their original content?
If you're asking me, I mean,
point blank. I'm just a blanket question because I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's unfair that you've got someone who, the original content creator, sees this great thing out there, and rather than try to, acquire that content creator, or, flat out go after them and say, hey, look, you're obviously trying to steal my content, approach them and say, hey, look, I like what you did with this. We want to make it our own. Can we work together for a unified project for the future? I think that'd be a cool approach.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are in the same boat Tyler's in, though. Tyler went full stop on the Pokemon franchise because of Sword and Shield. And I think a lot of those people that are into game development, indie development, that's why we're seeing such a rise of monster taming games, especially from the indie market, because Pokemon stopped giving people anything worth a fuck. So they went and made their own shit.
Yeah.
And
it's
very, very true.
I hope the success of these games, especially, Power World, with how big that got in the news and everything, I hope someone at Pokemon sees that and be like, oh shit. And I mean, the timing of them announcing Pokemon Legends ZA right after, Power World came out and everything.
God, I can't wait to play the fuck out of that.
Yeah, see, you're excited for it because they're bringing back megas and they're actually listening to fans. So, hopefully this lit some kind of fire under their ass. We'll see how it goes, but that's all we can
actual
hope for.
Gameplay also come into consideration with this? Like if somebody comes up with a Pokemon clone where all of the monsters are 100% different, but you're still throwing balls at them to capture them. Like, is that
I feel
also,
like that's just a staple of monster taming at this point.
Right. But what I'm saying though is that like, why is that also not in the same conversation as maybe having similarly designed monsters?
The reason I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, the reason I don't care as much about that is because if you are going after a mechanic, which is like, you throw an object at the creature to trap it, and then use it on your side, is that, taking it from Pokemon? It kind of could be Digimon, could be Monster Rancher. I mean, fuck, even Yokai Watch, they were kept in the metals, right? So like that probably goes back to Pokemon. But when it gets like when you put two designs of specific creatures together and there is so much overlap that you're like, this is insanity. This is nobody would disagree that this wasn't ripped, but it's like not ripped enough. So it's like untouchable by copyright. That's when I'm like, okay, that is like disgusting. Like I cannot move past that. There's no chance.
And I respect your like view on that, and that's fine. Like I don't expect you to ever play Power World. Like I get it. I get why too.
But even if Power World did like you threw Pal balls and they had like a little clock on the front and stuff like that, I'd be like, okay, that's pretty obvious, but that wouldn't get to me a millionth as much as outright character ripping. Like that is what fucks with me the most.
They have Pal spheres.
I mean, it's obvious. You go, yeah, of course, but that doesn't bother me as much as like that.
I'll show the image. They have actually announced like new pals, and it looks like they're moving into trying to design their own shit without any kind of influence. Like, I know the damage is done, especially for you and other people that feel the same way, but I feel like because it's still in early access, they could always go back and change those. Like they could have used models or whatever, and they could have used that as a jumping point just to get their game done and get it out there.
Right.
And maybe they'll go back and change it. Maybe they won't. I don't fucking know. I mean, maybe they're getting off on the fact that they've gotten away with copyright theft.
I kind of think Tyler is coming at it from a lot different perspective than the average person, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, from a litigious point of view, like, it's up to the company to protect their property, and people do it all the time, right? Especially Nintendo. Oh, yeah. Nintendo's known for that shit. They will rain hellfire on people, like just running a ROM website out of their basement, you know? And that's their responsibility. Like I think if somebody takes a game or a franchise that they like, finds influence from that, create something that people connect with and enjoy and play it, like that's fine for me. That's no different than a band coming out with music that's also art who is inspired by another band and they sound similar. Like there's no difference to me. But if there is actual theft, I don't think it's on the part of the consumer to like bring judgment to that. I'm fine with you agreeing, like saying I'm not going to play this because this crosses a line for me. Like that's perfectly fine, but it is definitely on the company's, what's the word? Like it's up to them to
ethical standards,
right? Well, some stuff you can't. It's some stuff skirts that line as far as I don't necessarily give a fuck about the legal stuff. I'm talking about the ethics of doing it. So like if you're a band that kind of sounds like Metallica and you took some of their inspiration and, like there's a couple guitar riffs that you're like, oh yeah, I can kind of hear like their influence. That's fine. But if your band is called Metallicar and your main song is Enter Snowman, it's like, dude, come the fuck on. You have to see who the fuck would listen to this band, right? Yeah, and so it's like, we're not doing anything technically wrong. It's on Metallica to handle it. Is that I can't. That
Weird Al Yankovic made an entire career off of it. So
he did.
But that's less deft, and that was more like parody.
Yeah, parody. So. But that's funny too, because both Power World and Nintendo, they're Japanese companies, and Japan does not have fair use parody laws. So,
but I'm not. Just to make it clear, I'm not trying to defend the Pokemon Company. They have made 1,000 fucking retarded decisions. I remember when Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, and your little tiny Pokemon would follow you around, the sprites, and it was the most loved thing they have ever done. And then the fans were like, this is incredible. Please never take this out of the games. This is so endearing. And then they never brought it back.
They brought it back for Arceus. They brought it back.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah, like when the original, but
20
Japan is notorious for doing that shit. Like,
Yeah.
Japan, when it comes to making video games, it's like any feedback is to be ignored, whether it's positive or negative. Like, hey, we love this. Please bring it in the next game. It's like, don't tell us how to make our art. It's like,
yeah, I wonder if it's a cultural thing.
I feel like it has to be, dude. Because why would you intentionally not listen to the people that are extremely happy with your product? It's like bewildering.
I don't know. I mean, they used to have a fucking prostitute taxi cab service back in the 80s, so who knows?
That rocks.
That's also very, very Japanese.
I would be curious to know how the artists feel about their art being pirated, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that
feel
can't
like
feel good.
that side of it, we have
That would
heard
be-
zero
Yeah,
from
that
the
would
artists
be
themselves.
interesting to hear about.
Yeah.
I don't
Like
know if we'll
Nintendo's
ever
made
hear
a
that
statement.
though, because Nintendo or Pokemon's probably gonna nerf it, so we probably won't ever hear that specifically. So, I don't think you'll ever really get to hear the true opinion there, and I don't really think they care, to be honest. And if anything, there might be some form of sincere flattery, but I can't really speak for them. So,
I would never ask Tyler to play Power World. I would like you to watch me stream it one day, because I think some of the things you've talked about with Pokemon, like how it was endearing to have the sprites follow you and everything like that. While looking at some of the designs, I can see where you're coming from, but it's their personalities that they've programmed into the game that really make these things shine through. And like almost every single one has like a unique, what do you call it? Like a stable idle animation, or like a sleeping animation, or how they move and react to things. Like you could tell there was a lot of care put into just that side of it. I feel like that when you're playing it, when you're watching it or whatever, you stop seeing like, oh, that's a Pikachu clone, or oh, that's a knockoff of this, and you start seeing
Sure, because they don't really act like what they look like, right? Or what they remind you of.
yeah, I was kind of taken aback when I heard your stance about Power World, because I was sure that you were going to be like super fanning over it, because when I saw all the stuff on, I was like, man, this is Tyler through and through.
Tyler-esque game.
Dude,
Pokemon
even
with
if
machine gun? What?
I think the gun stuff is super gay, but
No,
even if it was the best game in the world and playing it would change my life, that the art stuff, I'm like, nope, can't do it, would never do it. That's like a hard, I can't do it.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Honestly, that's one of the
But that's
things I
just me.
kind of find endearing about you, is that you will take stances like that. I mean, Paul has too, and I think all of us may have at some point in time, but it's kind of like it takes an extra little a little something to purposefully
100.
keep away from something you'll probably love because of something that you're just taking a stance on.
Oh yeah, and I think, dude, if I sat down and played it, I probably would enjoy it.
Yeah,
I don't think I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I just never would.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, at least entertain the thought of watching me stream it or something one day, just for shits and giggles.
Just so we can talk about it.
Yeah, just so we can talk about it.
Well, the only other thing I had on my list was Rob Sappy and then Frank Tarot Card.
Yeah, I was wanting to bring that up. I have it highlighted right here in the Discord.
Yeah. So I'm a very skeptical person through and through. I challenge every last little bit of anything and everything supernatural or hokey, that kind of junk, right? So yeah, wife and I went to St. Augustine for a little bit of a getaway after a kind of sour life change, and I decided, hey, yeah, you know what, I'll go ahead and get a tarot card reading while I'm there. Just totally off the cuff, on a whim. Didn't say anything to anybody about anything. Had one thought in my mind, nothing particular. Didn't mention anything to anybody.
What was the thought?
Work related.
Okay.
Very, very specific thought pertaining to an upcoming situation, and went into it blind. And so tarot card reader basically tells me to pick out of a bunch of different decks. She just gives me an option to pick a deck or 3 or something like that. So I pick from a deck, and then I have to pick a couple cards, and then she has me flip them over, and then she tells me what each card means. And the very first card was, they're basically words, right? So I don't know if you guys are familiar with tarot, which I'm kind of vaguely familiar with the process, but she proceeds to explain what the card means and then basically gives you a breakdown of what it means. Now, of course, they don't try to delve deep into, meaning they try to fish information from you. Some of them do. They try to fish info from you once they tell you the card to try to get a little bit more out of you for the next couple cards. I didn't tell her anything. So, because I wanted to test it. And I was very forthright with her from the get-go. I was like, I just want to do this to just test the theory. So forgive me if I seem to be, stoic or cold to you. I'm just here to test something out. She's like, oh, no, I get it. It's fine. Totally fine.
Guaranteed not the first time she's had that.
Oh, no. Not at all. I'm the guy.
She tried to John Edward you.
Typical guy. So the very first card was integrity. And I was like, bam, she got me nail on the head. Because the thought in my head had to deal with me losing my job recently. So it's out there, team. Everybody, I lost my job recently. So
that's what you get for feeling crack in the back. I'm just saying.
It was
why are you doing that?
Really, really big deal for me because I was struggling with the thought of, should I talk about how I lost my job? If they bring up the question, should I address it? How should I address it? That kind of thing. So it's a really big deal, like a challenge with my integrity, right? So I was struggling with that a lot at the time. And she goes on to explain the integrity card, and it was just nail on the head. Every last bit of it. And then the second and the third card only further cement everything that I'd gone into that day with. So right then and there, I was like, holy shit. And then, of course, Felicia's card just, Niagara Falls. So, yeah, legit.
Wait, what do you mean Niagara Falls? What was that mean?
Oh, she was just, it was an emotional roller coaster. So,
I see.
So, yeah, it was a very awesome experience, something I wasn't expecting at all. And I don't think every tarot card reader is legitimate in any way, shape, or form, but I do believe that there's potential for legitimacy in tarot. So that's pretty cool.
Frank, in the immortal words of Yuki's grandfather, you have to believe in the heart of the cards.
So no, it was really cool. I will admit, and I was not expecting it to be as dead on as it was, especially considering I told literally nobody a word about what I was thinking. So, and for it to be so dead on was just eerie. And I mean, I can't really give you more details of the thought process because it's been so long since I put those notes in. I wish I would have wrote more down at the time to really give you more of the thought process. But the fact that it was as accurate as it was at the time was very eerie. Now, the other story that we have from recently, I'm hoping Felicia will join us and tell us about that soon on the next podcast.
Oh,
because that one, that story is really, really good one. So
wait, what story?
Fingers crossed.
I missed it. What story?
You didn't miss it.
Oh, okay.
So wait, before we get off the subject of tarot cards, did I talk on the podcast about the neighbor my parents used to have that was into witchcraft and all that stuff? Did I mention that ever?
I don't remember.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so I think I was like 10 or 12 here. And we moved into this neighborhood, and next door was, I believe she was a Lebanese woman named Hanji. You can leave that in, it's fine. And so she was very much into like witchcraft and spiritualism and stuff. And, you know, my mom being like a pretty normal, regular Christian, she was like curious about it and was like, do you ever do any bad stuff? Like any bad? And Hanji was like, no, never. Because anything you do bad comes back. It is a 1-to-1. If you put bad out, you will receive bad. So Hanji was very stout in like only doing good stuff. And we had this cat, Tiger. He was very, very like anxious, neurotic. And they were giving him pills with like this plunger. And they go to give him the pill and he's like fucking freaking out. And he takes the whole tip of the plunger and like sucks it down. And so she's like, holy shit. All right. So mom takes him to the vet and the vet is like, okay, well, he either has to pass it, which I don't think he'll be able to because it's too big. He has to vomit it up, or we'll have to have intense like gastro surgery on him and he might not make it. And so my mom's like, Jesus Christ. So what do I do? And they're like, pretty much you just have to wait, see if he passes it. And I would say like 3 to 4 days. If he doesn't, you got to bring him in and we'll try surgery. So we're all very upset about this. And my mom goes over to Hanji's house and explains it to her. And she said, I think we should do a tarot reading. I think we should pull some cards. And my mom's like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what any of that is about at all. And she's like, let's just see what happens. And so she sits down with Hanji and they meditate for a while, eyes closed, really just putting their energy out there. And Hanji's like, okay, I think it's time. And my mom pulls a card and it was crows, a murder of crows, which is healing. And Hanji was like, that's it. And my mom's like, what do we do? And she's like, I think you're good. I think you'll be fine. And she was like, okay. And that was it. And a couple more days pass and he has not thrown up or excreted the plunger. It's still in him. She calls the vet. They set the time and she puts Tiger in. His name was Tiger. She puts him in the crate. She's driving to the vet and she would walk in here right now and tell you this story, hand over heart. She's driving him to the vet. He's in the back and there is a telephone wire across the road. And she was like, the whole telephone wire was full of crows. The entire thing, there wasn't a single space that a crow wasn't on. And when she noticed it and remarked like, what the fuck? Like I'm, like in awe of how many there were. And when she passed under it, he threw up the plunger. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I don't know enough about that stuff, but she was like, I 100% believe that she knew what she was talking about right there. And that whatever she did worked. And I was like, that is so crazy to me, dude.
That's pretty wild.
That's cool.
That's insane. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think some of that stuff can totally be real.
Hey, that's a cool story. I like it.
The only tarot cards I've ever even seen are the ones I got from the Dishonored like pre-order bonus. And I still
Dude,
have
I remember
them.
that.
I still have them. I want to get a shadow box or something for them to put them on my wall. I've just held on to it. The box has completely fallen apart, but the cards are still in great like condition. But yeah, that's the only tarot card familiarity I have.
Phasmophobia tarot cards.
Oh yeah, the Phasmophobia tarot cards that Tyler likes to pull every single one of while hiding in a closet.
I just walk in and go click, 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 click.
You just
hear his fucking shit just.
And I would always go hide in a corner before I pulled them too. And then I hear Paul scream.
You just hear a thud.
We should all play that.
You hear the thud of the front door locking.
God.
Yep.
What was that game?
And it was
what
always
was that game
me.
we were playing? It was Demonologist.
Yeah.
Where we were playing, and Paul just goes,
He just lost his mind. And then he was like, that scared me so bad.
I don't remember what it was. There were so many moments like that in Demonologist.
Yep.
That was the most... Dude, I've never heard somebody scream in a video game like fucking Paul and Demonologist, man.
I
think
it was the guy in the basement.
Had a way more jump scares, I think.
Yeah. The guy in the basement really got me when he was counting down from 10, and then he was like,
yeah,
I'm right behind you. And then you turn around, and nobody's there, and I turned back, and there's just a dude with no skin sitting with his legs crossed on a little stone in front of me, and I'm like, ah! Shit scared the fuck out of me.
That's so awesome, man.
I still haven't gotten the door to fly off the hinges again in Faz, man. I've tried.
Oh, that's so scary,
God,
dude.
Man. It was awesome.
Man.
Things I would never use to describe that situation. Awesome.
Awesome.
Oh, man.
Awesome. What was that one we were playing recently? The thievery one. Was it Boom In? Was that
Boom In. God, Boom In was such a shit show.
Where you try to...
It was fun, though.
Garbage.
The monster can't exist in the light, and we just for fucking stealing shit. It was fun. I liked it.
Remember how long I looped him around the car?
Yeah. We took turns kiting him around the fucking car.
Dead by Daylight, basically.
What was the one with the Pokemon mechanics that had like a ghost Pokeball at the end? Which one was that?
Oh yeah.
I can't remember which one that was.
Ghost Watchers, I think.
Was that what it was?
I think it was Ghost Watchers.
God, we've got so many of those fucking games.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
I'm actually curious. What the fuck?
I think it was Ghost Watchers.
Yeah, I think he's right. I think
it's
Ghost
Watchers.
I actually just had a moment of like anxiety, or like it kind of reminded me of how scared I was playing Faz.
Oh God!
It's just because like
when Tyler like held the door closed with you inside.
Well,
Tyler's an asshole with that door.
Yeah,
man.
He is such an asshole to you.
It's just bad though, because I distinctly remember having the thought like, I bet he's gonna fucking like close the door, or lock it, or do whatever to keep me in here. But I just remember being in that stupid house in Faz, and like a haunting or whatever started, where the lady starts going throughout the house and locks the door, and I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna run into this bedroom, I'm gonna hide in the closet, and she opens the door and just stares right at you and grabs your face, and you're like, oh my God. Get chills thinking about it.
I don't like that every single time Tyler closed the door on me, the haunting immediately started, so it would just lock after he's trying to fuck with me.
Oh,
I would feel so bad about that too. I would feel so bad about that because I would
have it.
I would like click close the door just a few times, like close, and then I would hear it go. I would hear it lock, and I would go, "Oh no, I'm so sorry."
There was a recording of that when that happened, and you came back to the truck, and Frank's like, "What happened?" And he's like, "Robert's dead. Rob's dead."
Yeah,
I did.
Robert's dead, and it's my fault. I remember going, "I'm so sorry, Rob. I'm so sorry."
God, we need to hop back on those games.
So I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna raise Rob's anxiety a little bit in a friendly way," and then the door locked, and I went, "Oh no!"
You got to find something else. You find a different door.
It's one of those moments where you just accept your fate, and you're just like, "Oh God, here you go."
It's like, Rob, close your eyes. Close your eyes, Rob. Close your eyes.
It won't hurt.
Robert, I'm
Close your
sorry.
eyes.
Take your headset off.
Oh God.
I know Frank has had like real life spooky moments, like with ghosts or unexplained situations. But have you, Tyler or Paul?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I had a dream when I was really young that when I was 2 or 3 or something like that, I somehow managed to put the minivan that was parked at the top of a hill, like it's flat, and then there's a little road that goes downhill towards a pond, and the road goes over the pond. Somehow I put the minivan out of park, and it rolled onto the road that goes downhill. Mind you, that road winds around trees and everything, goes perfectly down that road, not hitting a single tree, backs right into the pond, and I almost killed myself and my 2 cousins that were in the back
Is
seat.
this real?
Yeah, that actually happened.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the car didn't even have keys in it, so it just rolled on flat ground down and missed all these trees and then hit the pond, and we almost drowned. My mom ran out the house and saved us, thank God.
Shout out, Mom.
I remember having a dream when I was super young that that ghost came out of the top part of my grandparents' house at the top of that hill and pushed the van back.
Oh.
And like, I have never forgotten that. I had that dream like when I was really young, like 4 or 5, and I've never once forgotten that. And
that's a very good story. Jesus, that's unsettling.
Yeah, I don't know, like, I can't tell you, because it was so perfect how the car rolled down the hill. Like, I'll have to send a picture of my grandparents' house and how that road looks. But it was crazy because there's these giant pine trees that are on either side of that little road. And for all intents and purposes, we should have hit one of them. But we didn't. So.
Wow, Jesus Christ.
That was weird. That's the only thing I can think of anyway.
That's
so my story was in the it was back in my Albany house that you guys all knew. And I had my religious crisis where I was like, Christianity doesn't make sense, and I started freaking out. And I started, it was like I read something that was like doesn't matter, but it basically alluded to Satan being the powerful one. And that really fucked with me. And so I started to think about it a lot, and I started to dwell on it a lot. And I started researching, like, demon stuff, and basically just shotgunning what I would consider negativity into my brain and into my like experience and free time and shit. And the first thing that happened is I lay down to go to bed, and it was really late. It was like 12 or 1, and a stick of deodorant fell off of my dresser, and like nothing was going on, no fans were on, it just randomly fell, and it had been standing up all day. And like that just doesn't happen. There's not really, I don't know how it could. That scared, and the what was really weird about that is the amount of fear that I felt after it fell was so disproportionate to something falling, that I just felt like something was really, really, really wrong. And I remember I called my super Christian friend at the time, literally when it happened, and he answered, and he was asleep, and like we prayed on the phone and stuff. And then after that, I was like, okay, I can't fuck with that stuff anymore. I have to get off of it. And so after that, we had a vacuum propped up downstairs, and it had been propped up for a week, and it like randomly fell over. And I was like, dude, I don't like what the fuck is going on here. And we had this little dining room. I don't know if you guys remember it, but the dining room is accessible by swing doors. And anytime I went in that dining room for any reason, I could almost visualize like a figure in that room by the window. I always felt like one day I might walk in and I would see something there. I always like felt a presence in that little room. And so eventually I realized I had to take action. And what made me realize that was, you guys all know the sounds your houses make. You're familiar with every sound. If you think about opening a drawer in your bedroom right now, you know what that sounds like.
Yeah.
And so I was upstairs, and we had this we still have it actually. It's a little wooden table that has these drawers that go all the way through the table. So like you can pull it out on one side or the other to access this like super long drawer. And I was standing at the top of the stairs, and I heard that drawer open. And it was downstairs, and it was in the living room. And I went, Mom? And I heard the drawer close. And I was like, Dad? And then they opened the bedroom door right next to me. And they're like, what? And I'm like, who's in the living room? And they're like, nobody. was like, I heard the drawers opening. It was probably the AC. And I'm like, dude, it's unmistakable, that sound. I know it 1,000%. And so when that happened, I was like, okay, things are not slowing down. They're not stopping. And so I had a friend come over when my parents were out of town, and we went into that dining room at night with all the lights off. And I asked if there was anything in this room to please give us a sign. And we waited for a few minutes, and there was like an old school chandelier in that room. And I was just like, I wasn't looking anywhere because it was so dark, it was hard to see. But I remember my friend going, Watson. And I was like, what? And he was pointing, and the chandelier was moving. And I went, okay. So you don't have to leave. I remember saying, you don't have to leave, but please stop moving stuff. Please stop doing this. I was like, we're not hostile. You don't have to leave, but just please stop. And I still felt the presence anytime I went into that room, but nothing weird like that ever happened again. And I don't know, man. I will never forget that shit, dude. But ever since then, I was like, I'm not thinking about that shit. I'm not going to put any energy into it. I'm not going to invite that in any way. Because I do think even if it's a manifestation of energy, I think that shit absolutely can happen for sure if you're fucking around with it.
So like modern paranormal research, have you heard about the definition of the modern poltergeist?
No.
So they believe that the poltergeist is actually like a telekinetic manifestation. So like
energy?
Well, yeah, like particularly around young people who've gone through traumatic events or going through some kind of crisis. They tend to project energy.
Jeez.
So that poltergeists are actually that telekinetic energy. So it's kind of interesting you telling that story. It made me think about that. Because when you mentioned you're having that crisis of faith, for instance, and it almost lines up, and it's kind of interesting to hear about. And I was just trying to find an article about it, but it's a really progressive study right now in Europe. And it's kind of sad that we don't have actual colleges of parapsychology and paranormal study here in the States, but it's like a real thing in Europe. Probably because it's so much older there. They've got a whole lot more, ancient culture there, I guess. But
it really was a religious crisis too. Like I remember I like cried about it. Like I was freaking the fuck out.
But I'll definitely find something for you to check that out, because it's really deep, that rabbit hole. And I remember you telling us something about that from the past, or it might have been me that you were telling about before. And it kind of resonated with me then too. So it's kind of neat. But yeah, kind of freaky too.
Kind of neat. You're summoning ghosts.
I don't think he summoned anything. I just
might have accidentally.
But
yeah, that's crazy.
We all have these chilling ghost stories. I like sharing ghost stories though. So
I just put in the Discord where, like, it's a Google satellite image of my grandparents' house where the van started and the path it
it's
took.
Like a whole ass U-turn. It's not even like a remotely straight
Wait, what
shot.
Is this?
The minivan rolled straight back and hit that curve in the road and went down into the pond backwards.
What the fuck?
Did not hit any of those trees.
So the only thing I could think is,
Paul, I hate that you showed that to me.
Rutted enough, maybe.
It looks like a big clown smile.
Wow.
John Wayne Gacy. What?
Yeah, no. So yeah, that's I have one more picture of the side of the house, where, like, in that dream I had, this little vent at the top of the side of the house is where I saw the things fly out of to push the van.
Nice,
brother. The last thing I have is about Hanji again. So this was before we bought our house in Albany. We were looking for. No, it wasn't in Albany. It was in Florida. We were looking for a new house in Florida. And we were checking out a few different places, and Hanji believed that I had some connection to the like spirit world or whatever. She believed that I could like sense it or I could see it or something. She was like, I just feel that within Tyler, that he's in tune with it a little bit. And we were looking in this. Yeah, we were looking in this house. Remember, I was like 12 at this time.
Yeah,
we were looking in this house, and it had a spiral staircase up to this room. And so my mom and dad are like downstairs talking to the realtor. It's broad daylight, and I'm like walking around the house checking it out. Cool, looks fine. And I start going up that spiral staircase, and just like dread just hits me. And it was, dude, it's bright in the house. It's daylight, and just dread hits me. Like I can hear my parents right downstairs. I know I should be fine. And I like come up the spiral staircase, and when I went into that room, oh fuck, I have chills, man. It was normal until I got through the doorway, and there was a big mirror on the left. And when I just looked in that mirror, I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And I went downstairs, and I was like, Mom, Dad, I don't feel good here. I feel afraid. I don't like it. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, I just something feels fucking wrong. And so we left.
Is off.
And that house was a very good price. It was in a good place, whatever. And so my mom was like, my dad is very afraid of spirit stuff, doesn't want to fuck with it, talk about it, think about it. And my mom was like, but that house is such a good offer. She's like, I have an idea. I won't say anything, and I'll bring Hanji to check out the house with me. Hey girl, you want to come see the house with me? Sure,
hey,
yeah, of course. So she invites her. They go out, they have lunch, they have a great time. Everything's upbeat, positive. She's like, all right, let's go see the house. They roll up in front of the house, and they park on the road, not in the driveway. My mom's like talking as she's parking, and Hanji is just with her head completely to the right, looking at the house, like not facing forward, not looking back at mom, just like facing the house with her head. And mom was like, all right, you ready? Like unbuckles her seatbelt, and Hanji was like, I don't feel good about this house. And my mom was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And she was like,
she just switches to a Jamaican accent. It's like, God, there's some evil in that house.
But she legitimately went, Melissa, I don't want to go in there. Like, you can go in, but I'm sorry. I just don't, something feels off about that house. And my mom went, okay, nope, good enough for me. And that was it. But I was like, oh my God, dude, what the fuck?
Huh. So it's funny you said that about mirrors too, because there's spiritual circles say mirrors are portals too. So
yeah, that's
dude.
Don't like that.
It was like the dread that I felt going up the stairs, and then when I saw into the room, it was like neutral. But then when I looked into the mirror, that's when the dread like full hit, and I was like, nope. Even though I don't see anything, I was like, no, dude, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Nope.
I wonder if that's where the 7 years of bad luck adage comes from. It's like, oh, you broke their portal. Now they're going to curse you for 7 years.
It's an interesting thought process. But one of the things that floats around in those circles, though, is if there's mirrors on opposite walls facing each other, that opens a gate.
Bleh. I don't like that.
Creepy,
I just
right?
remembered something else about my whole drowning experience. Almost drowning experience.
Was
my
there a
middle
mirror
name,
in the water?
Yeah, my middle name, Davis. You can feel free to bleep that out if you want. I don't care. Comes from my uncle Joel Davis, and he died in a car accident where he careened into a pond and drowned a year before I was born.
Was it that pond?
It was not that pond, but it was a pond in the same town. I just thought about that.
I love how you are progressively doxing yourself on the show. I'm just
Yay! Come find
the one
me,
person
bitches!
who doesn't want to do like cameras or anything like that, doesn't want to put their information out there.
Oh,
They're
dude,
like,
you can easily
here's my middle
find me,
name, here's my
probably.
social, here's my blood type, here's
It is 1, 3. I don't. That's not even my social. I wish I remembered it. I know it on a keypad because I remember the pattern.
Yeah.
from typing it so much.
God bless anybody who really wants to know who we are.
Tuxedo
Dude,
If you
Tom's
do,
like,
you're mentally ill.
I am.
I don't think there's any. Well, no, my mom has photos of me on her Facebook, so I guess there are photos of me out on the internet somewhere. But I was about to say nothing that I've put up.
Dude, how the fuck did the car roll like that?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well,
It's weird.
like I said, there's probably enough rutting in the road. The only part that gets me is when it still veers off of the road into the pond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the only
It goes
part.
straight up.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on
It
that.
goes
I
straight
really don't like
So-
that.
Good old Unc there is trying to take Paul.
Yeah, I guess. Fucking
The
almost.
only thing I
Like,
could
this
think
is
That's a
of
good one,
goddamn
is,
Paul.
Spider-Man.
That's right up there with my ghost story. I like that one.
Ugh.
Paul, is there any bit of
We
a
all got good
hill
ones.
on that driveway? Like, does it slope downhill towards the
It
lake?
is a steep hill. Like I wish I had a
Going
picture of
down.
the hill itself. But
Of the
that
actual
is a hill.
driveway?
Yeah.
So my
Like,
thought is just kind of being rational and applied a little bit of physics is that the car gains speed as it comes down the hill, and that's how it's able
Yeah.
to hop the edge of the road. But
Probably.
why?
So if you're
turn
looking
like
at
that.
this, if you look at the picture from top down view, right where that dirt patch is kind of where the hill starts to go down, and it gets steeper from there as the road goes down. All of that, like where the edge of the house, all the way to that dirt patch, that's flat. Which you can see in the picture
Right.
below. But
Paul,
yeah,
I'm
that-
saving this picture as the cover art for the episode.
the Google search of my grandparents'
Yes.
house.
Yes.
Folks, GeoGuessr experts are going to be like, oh, I know where this is.
Boy, we went from fucking microtransactions to like cosmic
Ghost
horror
stories.
real quick.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
kettle
man.
of fish, dude. Rabbit.
Rob, I know
trail
you have
central.
a pretty big intrinsic fear of all this. Have you ever had an experience that
Yeah.
caused that level of fear? Or
Yeah, did a ghost molest
Did you have a ghost story, Rob?
I kind of do, but I was much older, and the fear and unsettling feelings I get from it were well established before that.
So what caused those feelings, though?
I
What
think-
trauma?
I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's just coming up in a home that was very religious,
Christian.
very like you don't fuck around with Ouija boards, and you don't
Yeah.
you don't even talk about it. You don't even play around with the idea of summoning Satan and his minions, and I think that's what it.
Yu-Gi-Oh is evil.
Yeah, and D&D, yeah, because you're just
D&D's the devil.
yeah, exactly. You're casting spells and you're worshiping Satan, right?
I mean, only if you're a warlock.
Things that
Man.
you don't do as a young Christian boy.
Pokemon's the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's really kind of that, and just I have always the entirety of my life, as I was younger or whatever, like I was a pretty good kid. Like if you told me not to do something because it was wrong or because it was bad or whatever, chances are I probably wasn't going to do it. And whether or not that's
Sure.
because it was fear of my parents or fear of the outcome of the event or whatever, like that's just how it was. And this is funny because this actually touches on the subject that I had posted in the show notes, where I ask if certain things that I do is kind of overthinking things, and that's preparing for
Everything.
things that may even not happen. Like, I think the example that I gave in the Discord was permanent, like, body piercings. Like, I don't understand why anybody would want to ever do that, because what if you need an MRI? You know, like, it's shit like that that I think about. Like, I never did BMX or rollerblading or whatever, because it's like, what if you break a bone? And I didn't want to go through that. So,
Because, man, this is the only life you get. You live it.
yeah, but I don't get any excitement out of that. Maybe that's because I never did it and I
Yeah.
didn't experience it to know that it was exciting.
Oh,
But
yeah.
whatever.
The high of poking holes in your body. Huh.
Oh, yeah.
but
Paul loves putting stuff in his holes.
I do. Every night.
But to
before I go
get back
bed.
to the ghost stories, get back on
Keeps
subject.
cheese smell away.
a little bit.
A shower would probably do that better.
Wow. Some
That's the
smegma.
title of the episode.
TLDR'd.
What? Cheese smell?
Oh, God. Anyways, so I have a very good friend of mine. He is essentially my brother. I would absolutely take a bullet for him. He's very much into the spookies. We were in a band practice that took place in a room that was above a gymnasium at a church.
Oh, I hate the way you said that. Don't say that.
Gymnasium.
Gymnasium.
A basketball arena. There we go.
That's where
they had finished up their practice, and he was like, "Oh, I downloaded this app. You guys, we should check this out." And it was on his phone, and I guess it's a voice box or a we had
Spirit box.
Spirit box. That's right. Where it's supposed to kind of like tune in with frequencies in the room around you, and you're supposed to be able to basically converse with the other realms.
Danny Phantom.
And he's like, "Let's see if this thing works." So he turns it on, gets it going, starts asking probing questions, open-ended questions, and we start getting responses. And I was like, whatever, this is probably just like an MP3 or whatever, and he has it timed, and this is just some fucking a prank of sorts. But then he gets very specific, and he is like, "Tell me what's around me." And he, in the staticky voice, says people. And then it says guitars. Then it says stairs. We're like, fuck, what? So we're like, all right, let's walk down the stairs. Let's see how well this goes. See how deep this goes.
Let's fuck with it.
Yeah, let's fuck with it a little bit. We're like, okay, what's at the bottom of the stairs? Balls. Okay. We get down to the stairs because we want to confirm this. We could walk downstairs, go outside, and there's a rack of basketballs. And we're like, what else is around us right now? And it says water, toilet, and right next to the door we walk out of for the stairs is the bathrooms for the gym.
Brother.
We're like, where are we? And it says holy place. Like, what? What?
I don't like that.
I went home.
Don't be fucking with ghosts, man.
When it says holy place.
Yeah, dude.
What?
Bro.
How old is that
is
ghost that doesn't know the word church? God.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
That's fine.
Well, and I kind of thought about that a little bit more too. Like, why didn't it say church? And I was like, wow, maybe church is like more of a modern term, or that's not like universal throughout the entirety of the ages.
But it knew what toilet was.
Yeah.
Which that's
well, actually, it just said, oh yeah. It did say water and toilet. Yeah, that's so weird. So weird.
That is weird. Maybe it was foreign. Maybe it was like an Indian guy that was strangled and buried under the.
Or maybe
by me.
Like it was a building next to the church, so maybe it wasn't specifically the church. But I don't know.
I hate that, bro.
Yeah.
I hate that.
That's yeah.
That's fun, and yeah.
The fact
All right,
that
we gotta
some
wrap this up,
random
boys. I gotta
like,
take this.
free ass app on the iPhone was able to do that was crazy.
Yeah.
But
using AI 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
But yeah, so that's my
Can't wait to sleep real bad tonight.
What do you want to
Come
end
play
on a slightly?
Phasmophobia and double
Yeah,
that.
you want to end on a better note and let me do my little spiel, my give you reasons why I'm thankful or appreciative of you.
Sappy,
Yeah,
sappy.
it's not
whatever.
even really that sappy. I just wanted to kind of use a word to.
I love you guys.
Yeah. Just things that I appreciated about you. And I've told you this before, and this doesn't completely encompass what I think of you. It's just kind of just a summary. But Paul, I wanted to say that I do appreciate you for your resilience in situations where a lot of people would just fucking quit. I don't know if it's just because you are stubborn, but you do legitimately seem to take situations as they come. You might let it get to you, but it doesn't seem to be as detrimental as what it could be. Something. Oh yeah, I mean, complaining is one thing, sure, but like you've been in situations where I know other people would have just fucking outright have just quit, and it was like, yeah, I'm done, you know. But you still pulled through somehow, either financially or whatever. And that's something that I do kind of admire about you. And I did want to say that I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and I will always say it, that I do legitimately hope that something great happens to you. You have to accept it though, and you have to be willing to take change. I don't have to
accept it. I could just be like,
Okay.
But I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Frank, one thing I've always appreciated about you, and something that I've tried to not mimic, but tried to kind of like learn how to do, is to know the difference and practice the difference between like friendship and like work relationship, because I've heard people talk about that and people describe like this is healthy, this is a good thing. And you're the first person that I think of when somebody describes the ability to kind of segregate those things, to have like work life and relationships and friend life and relationships, even if it's with the same person. And the best example that I have of that is the fact that you fucking fired me and we're still friends.
Sorry, that caught me off guard.
Well,
but I know it wasn't completely your decision. It was taken out of your hands. It wasn't something that I did to you and you were like, fuck Robert, you know, I'm going to get rid of him. But still, I could have been soured after that and been like, fuck Frank, I'm not going to ever talk to him again. But I didn't. We didn't. We continued to play D&D. I continued to come over to your house. We continued to hang out.
D&D's nuts.
And it was like, okay, well, that's a chapter that has closed and ended and moved on. And in some ways made future decisions easier for me. But that's something that I have appreciated and something that I kind of wish I was better at.
Can I guess what you're going to say about Tyler?
Sure.
You appreciate his passion and energy for things.
That's very much true. Not so broad.
Not so broad. I was trying to be broad. Not John Edwardsing you.
Not so broad.
Yeah.
The little note that I have scribbled down here was call it good timing.
Rob, are you dying?
No, I am not dying. I am not dying. I feel like sometimes it's good to like let people know what you think of them.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, no.
Robert's butt virus has become terminal.
Yes, no. That is not the case. And some of this I've shared with Tyler fairly recently, but just want to put it out in the ether. But I said, call it good timing, call it your charisma and ability to reason, but you have definitely forever changed my life for the better.
And all of our vocabulary.
That's true. You pointed this out not too long ago.
In your words for 2022.
Oh man, shike, shitter.
We talked
shitter.
That's part of the episode that you weren't in.
Shitter. Yeah.
That's part of episode 89. When you listen to it, you'll understand.
We listed off.
Yeah.
Like a list of words that you've ingrained in our DNA. Based.
Shitter is such a good word, dude.
It really is.
Based. True. Like I think about those words all the time, and I have like this reaction to say them to people at work, and it's because of you. And I'm just like, oh my god, Tyler, damn it.
100%. I continued on and said, even if we stopped talking right now, like completely ghosted, I pissed you off or you pissed me off, and I just hit the delete button on everything, every point of contact with you. I have every reason in the world to be forever grateful. Let's see.
Yeah, you would have gone to the gym so fucking hard.
I mean, that's the truth, though. I know,
that's why I said it.
59 pounds down. Yeah, man, that's fucking insane.
Yeah. And the fact that it hasn't been miserable and it hasn't been Like it's just been sustainable. It's been purposeful. It's been
enjoyable, right? Like you have a new hobby now that you actually like and is interesting.
pretty much. I never would have. I know. I said it on the show too. I said it on the show before I started going, like the episode before the June whatever episode. Where I was like, I will never be the guy that gets up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym. And
Yeah,
and
you have said that a lot.
I haven't.
And now look at you, Robert. Now you're in my domain.
Yeah, he owns your soul.
But yeah, so it's just a brief, like little description, a little thing that I do appreciate about you guys.
You misspoke. Kill him.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna kill you with a hammer. That's something else you put into my
you
vocabulary.
have been saying that a lot. I'm gonna kill you with a hammer.
Yeah, because I just think about it a lot for some reason.
The only thing that's bad though is that if any of us die by a hammer,
For my hammer,
they're gonna go to Tyler.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
I'll get a call.
absolve him. I absolve Tyler of all hammer murderings.
Hammer
that are coming
related.
my way.
I'll get a phone call. It's like, hey, Tyler, did you know Robert? And I'll go, yes. And they'll go, well, he just died by a screwdriver attack. And I go, yep, I believe it.
do you know anything about that?
Yeah.
Or the many threats you've made with power equipment?
With common home tools.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He inspired
Well, thank you,
one of
Robert.
our
That was
many,
very
many
sweet.
fans.
Yeah.
Oh God,
no.
yeah, you're gonna fucking John Lennon him.
I do not endorse any hammer or screwdriver attacks
Kill John Lennon.
unless the person's being really annoying.
And you've read Catcher in the Rye recently.
Yeah.
But
Jesus fucking Christ.
this has been an interesting episode. I don't even care that it's an hour and a half recording.
I do feel like this was a really good
You're
one.
gonna listen to it anyway. At least Tom will. I don't know.
Yeah, Tuxedo Tom. Shout out Tuxedo
Turkey
Tom.
Teenus.
Message us. Let us know who you are because I would really love to know. We can give you.
Free stuff.
All right, we have to wrap this up. I have to pee and poop so bad. It's
Yep.
unbelievable.
Cool.
Cool,
All
Paul, do the thing.
Do the thing? Okay. Goodbye, everybody.